the new album is Things Take Time. And the first song that we played from it is Rae Street. And it is uh, my understanding that Rae Street is a real place that
Mhm.
you, a street that you very much lived on. And could you paint a picture for us of like a day in the life on Rae Street?
Yeah. Um, a very sunny street, um, scattered with a few trees. Just like a 2-minute walk down the road was a kind of park space. So while I was living there, it was lockdown for majority of the time. So I couldn't do too much stuff, but I would just spend a lot of time walking around the neighborhood. So, or lying in the park, listening to music. um, but yeah, just a kind of suburban street, families, and you know, it's nice.
Yeah, and I do love that on the album. We also get like some ambient looks of Rae Street, of kids running around and getting yelled at.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself on Rae Street?
I finished a solo tour early 2020 and got back to Australia kind of just as COVID was really taking off, and I wasn't living anywhere. So when I got back, a friend kind of let me take over the lease of their flat, and so I moved in there. Uh, yeah, and it was just a nice little apartment, big windows, lots of sun. Um, yeah.
Um, and I heard that you were living there alone for the first time, or like living alone for the first time. And I remember we talked a couple of years ago, and we were talking about an album, and I was asking you like, what is some process stuff, and you're like, yeah, well, I kind of write a thing, and then I asked Jen about what this is like, and then I do this, and then and then I check in with her. Um, uh, how did you have that on this, and how was it different on this one?
Yeah, I think yeah, I probably got a few friends in my life that I kind of show songs in progress to. Not many. I find
Mhm.
it quite like it's quite it feels very vulnerable kind of place, and I'm one of those people that thinks that it's like it's never finished and it's never right, so it takes so long for me to get to a place where I feel like it's shareable.
Mhm.
um but yeah, definitely I had a few friends who I would like send a few demos to and get their opinion, and yeah, it's definitely useful, but everyone always has an opinion, or like their own opinion, so it's hard. You kind of get stuck in a in a circle, in a loop sometimes.
How are you looking to make this album like sonically different?
um I think it's I mean, it was probably a bit of a mystery. It's always kind of leaving it up to kind of see what happens. Like once I start recording things, I definitely spent a bit of time like writing and making demos, and they had a particular sound and quite a like metoric, um um like a kind of meditative like repetition, which I quite liked. So I would definitely wanted to capture that, and I guess I spent a lot of time like sitting on the couch listening to records
Mhm.
in 2020, um, which I don't often like afford myself the time to do. And and walking around listening to music in headphones, which I love doing, just like taking in the kind of environment and the space around you and really focusing on what you're listening to. So I wanted to make something that was like really like beautiful to listen to and kind of peaceful and not incredibly abrasive or, you know, quite like comforting.
Yeah. And I think you've done that.
That's
Uh,
good.
I know that, like, I also, like everybody, just like went on a lot of walks and listened
Mm,
to a lot of music. And I remember listening to Waxahachie because that album had just come out and thinking like, I am going to remember this time every time I listen to this album. And that was like, for me, that it was like the Waxahachie album was the album that I listened to like the most at that time. What was it for you?
I love that album. I definitely spend a lot of time listening to that album.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I have a very vivid memory of laying on the grass that was just around the corner from my house because there was no outdoor section at my house. So when I wanted some to, you know, get some real sunshine, I walked down the street and um, I remember listening to Kate LeBon, the latest record, Reward.
mhm.
Um, and definitely Arthur Russell. I spent a lot of time listening to Arthur Russell. Um, they're the two that really, really stick out. Yeah.
Uh, Laying on the grass and listening to an album, I would imagine as an artist, like that is like the ultimate. Or like you if you make something like somebody taking the time and doing the like
Yeah.
intensive, like I'm going to lay on the ground and listen to this. That's special.
Yeah. It really like I think I've like had a newfound love for music, you know, in the last 2 years.
That is great. Yeah.
It's like like really finding the positives out of the last few years, and that was definitely one thing that, you know, is always there and always right in front of us and so accessible. But yeah, even I make music and I want people to respect my music, but I don't often listen to music with the same respect, you know, that I that
So
I
desire.
would yeah. So when I like really like took the time to do it, I was like, oh, this is, and I love like sitting with a record and reading the lyrics as
Ah,
I'm
yes.
listening to it, which I do sometimes, but like it takes it just takes time out of your like whatever you're doing. So when you really do it, you realize like how much I was not listening to music properly before.
Totally.
Yeah.
I remember being like, I own hundreds of albums, and whenever I go to listen to an album, I just want to buy a new one or go to the last thing I bought instead of like going to the album. Was it the last time I listened to an album I bought 5 years ago? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, I also recently talked to Indigo D'Souza, and she said that her biggest influence was Arthur Russell, and
Mm.
that like Arthur Russell has like kind of popped up in conversation like here and there, but it's weird that like a couple of weeks ago I talked to her and now I'm talking to you about Arthur Russell. What is it that grabbed you about Arthur Russell, or what does he do in particular that you gravitate towards?
Yeah, isn't it funny how that happens sometimes? Like,
It's so strange.
yeah, I just remember like a friend sent me a playlist and I just was like, how have I never heard of this person before? And then all of a sudden, everyone I spoke to, I was like, you need to listen to this album. And they were like, yeah, like I've heard that. Or like, um, and yeah, and I just realized that like lots of people were into him, rightly so. And but that was exciting still. But yeah, I don't know. There's a very like natural sounding element to the music he made, and um, it just, I mean, since kind of discovering his music, I've like gone on a a binge to find out more about him, and read the book and watched the film, and just trying to really soak it all in. And it seems like he definitely, took a lot of time to make things, and remixing and re-recording, and like this kind of not indecisive, but just like chasing the sound that was in his head, which it seemed like he couldn't often like find maybe. And I don't know, it's everything just sounds so perfectly imperfect,
Yeah.
and there's always something new to hear. Like there's so much going on, and it never goes where you expect it to go. And
Tell me what you learned about him, because I don't know a lot. What was interesting about him, about his life?
I definitely, I mean, I think the process, like his process seemed, first of all, like I think lots of, he just seemed to have so many ideas. It's like write so many songs that it's almost like he couldn't keep up with them or something. And he kind of, started multiple projects, and like I think that he recorded things under so many different names. There's just like this big catalog of songs out there under different different artist names. And yeah, I'm not sure what the overarching lesson was.
I would love to play an Arthur Russell song on the radio to come out of this. What is your favorite Arthur Russell song?
Oh, maybe I really like The Letter. The letter.
Thank you. And why?
I really like the beat is strange. Like it feels, the beat just feels like slightly strange, but also perfect. Like it's just the kind of thing that I would never like be able to come up with. And I think his voice as well is like the through line that really gets me. Like he's got such a beautifully kind of heartbreaking voice, and yeah, kind of quite a like romantic sentiment running through a lot of his songs. And yeah, he's got a perfect voice.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
I used to think introvert, but maybe, I mean, I wouldn't really, I would just say I'm kind of comfortably somewhere in the middle, I think. Depending on the situation, I can kind of turn it on if I have to. But I mean, probably slightly more introverted than extroverted.
Because sometimes I feel that tension in your music of and in your songwriting of like wanting to be close, but also that being a source of anxiety. I particularly love the song "Take It Day by Day." I think it's so sweet and charming, and it's just like I remember listening to the first time and just being so charmed. And that song is about calling your friends. And was that a big source of comfort for you?
Yeah, I think it was. And just like, yeah, kind of reconnecting, on a kind of deeper level, and having some deeper conversations than maybe I had before. And yeah, I think just like appreciating those relationships, or those friendships, and just like not taking them for granted. but yeah, I mean, that song, I guess it almost started like it was kind of tongue in cheek and kind of like something I was just going to send them for fun. And then I just kept working on it, and I really liked it.
That is like what it seems like. I think that's like the fun of it,
Yeah.
it is like a bit of a, a thing to send to your friends.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like that too. Like in that song, I also feel like in the past 2 years, I think just by the limitations of humanity, we have, I haven't acquired as many friends, and the ones that I've had I have like called them frequently, which is a thing I didn't do before. and
Yeah.
and the ones that I have, I think, got a lot closer.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something really special about that, I think.
And as we're to end here, I was asked what's the last song that you couldn't stop listening to. But you were just on a flight from Australia, right? To Milwaukee.
Oh no, I actually got here in September
Oh,
or
did you? Okay, so you've been
October.
here.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask what you like listened to on the plane, but I guess that question is irrelevant. So what is the last song that you can't stop listening to?
um God. Been listening to a lot of Janet Jackson
Huh.
lately. That's my go-to happy music.
Could you point us to a song?
Um Probably All For You is probably the recent favorite.
Why?
It's just a great song.
It's
It's a great song.